Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, I know we can't see them, but they're here.
Yeah,
Um, Phyllis, congratulations.
thank you.
Where were you when you found out that you were a semifinalist?
In my home? In my home, because the crazy COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Well, it's so beautiful. It's great to see. I've seen it in a couple of different versions, and it's so powerful. Um, the montage sequence where your main character is dressed up and performing and handing out flyers every time, and people are taking pictures with him. It's so intense and sad to see that his art has been reduced to basically handing out flyers for a business.
It's actually not only his art. I think is our culture, our art is kind of like decreasing. So even us, even Chinese, they don't really appreciate our traditional art anymore. So it's more and more like a symbol. So this is something that I also want to show in my film.
Gotcha. Well, also, I think that there's something that happens with this film. The fact that it was set in 1994, that's a really strong choice that you made. Why did you set it in 1994 as opposed to 2020?
Yeah, because around 1990, China started opening their borders and then letting people out. So most of the immigrant we see now is from 1980. They move out from China. So especially around 1990s, there's a lot of Chinese immigrants. So Kim is one of them. And also because around 1960, there was Chinese Cultural Revolution.
Right.
And that revolution kind of destroyed our traditional arts. And King's family is one of the one who've been like punished because their art form.
Exactly.
So that's why after the Cultural Revolution and when China opened the border, he came out. And he's not the only one. I interviewed a lot of Peking Opera artists who right now in the state, they all came out from the same reason, because they were terrified.
And they basically were fleeing for their lives.
Yes.
It's very beautiful the way that you combine his immigration experience and refugee status with the art form, and which made me want to know a little bit, what is your background and connection to this type of story, or your inspiration for this story?
So actually I have nothing to do with Peking Opera or any traditional art form, but I born in an immigrant family. So when I was young, when I was little, I saw the hardship for immigrant family.
Right.
Especially, I remember my parents when they first came to Panama. They don't have money. They are poor. The only thing they can afford was a mattress. That they pick up from the street.
So your family, when they left China, they went to Panama.
Yeah, they first went to Panama.
Okay.
So so after they got that mattress, and then they were like fighting for their life, they can only found a job in a little Chinese restaurant as like washing dishes, because they cannot speak English and they cannot speak Spanish at that time.
Gotcha.
So that year in the mid-autumn, like around the mid-autumn, my grandpa passed away. But they don't have any like they cannot find a way to go back. So yeah, because like Mid-Autumn is a festival, especially for Chinese. It's a festival for us to get together with their family and reunite.
Right.
But that Mid-Autumn was such, I mean, it's
It
so
must
heartbreaking for them.
it must have been incredibly painful to be
Yeah.
in a new country, not know the language, have very
Hmm.
little in terms of comforts, and then to not be able to return to their family during a tragedy.
Yeah.
So
So
that's part of your family history.
yes,
Wow.
yes. And also, like when I start writing the story, I interview a lot of immigrants. One of them are he's a Peking Opera performer. He also have a very like similar background, like
Okay.
my main character. So he became my prototype. So it makes my character more believable.
Right. Oh, you had you ever been to a Peking opera? Does that exist in the United States? Can you go to one?
Yeah, that exists. That
Okay.
exists. So a lot of like old Chinese immigrants,
Mhm.
they love singing Peking opera. Even now, there are a lot of Peking opera like groups.
Yeah.
They get together every Sunday or Saturday, and they even pay for the musician come to play the instrument for them. So
Really?
yes, I went there, and then I especially like I interviewed them, and I observed them. I observed them because I believe like all immigrants and all people
Uh-huh.
different from my age, they have different way to express themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, Phyllis, the scene at the restaurant where King sings to the old woman. Like I said, I've seen the movie many times, but this time, did you re-edit the scene or is it the subtitles that are
No,
different? It's the
the
subtitle.
subtitle is different. But that part, but that part wasn't different.
No,
We
it felt
basically
more
didn't.
emotional.
Oh,
It
really?
really like I thought I was gonna have to go find a tissue before I could come back over here. It just felt so emotional to me, and the way that you are showing the face of the old woman, and we see how much this opera means to her, and we know what it means to King because we know he's in mourning for his mother's death. It's so powerful, such an intense moment of connection,
Thank
human
you.
connection. I thought you did a terrific job with that. So I have a question for you.
Hmm.
You were you born in Panama? No, you were born in the US, right?
Yes, I born in the US. I born in San Francisco.
And then did your family return to China? Is that where did you grow up mostly?
So the first 8 years of my life, I grew up in Panama, and then I went back to China until I finished my
Okay.
undergrad
And
in China,
and then you
undergrad.
came to
Mm.
the US.
Yes,
You did
for.
undergrad in China.
Hmm.
And what did you study as an undergrad?
So I graduated from a fine art school. Firstly,
Hmm.
I was a painter. I studied illustration.
Uh,
Then slowly I felt this wasn't for me, so I changed to filmmaking. So
Fascinating. So that's actually a question that I wanted to ask you. Why filmmaking? What do you like about telling a story in a film as opposed to a painting?
so I tried a lot of medium before. I was a novelist when I was really, really young. I
Oh,
started writing novels. And then I started painting. I went to a fine art school. I tried a lot of media. But I felt like movie is something more, in a way, it it is more simple to the audience. They don't need to know art. They don't even need to be uh, they don't even need to have a master degree or a bachelor degree, or they don't even need to have knowledge. They just need to understand the story. So I felt this is a powerful way for me to communicate with my audience compare with the other art form.
Interesting. So
And
it
also,
feels more accessible to
yes,
an audience.
yes, and because of it's more accessible, then you have the tools
Mm.
to express your feelings. And I felt like movie media is
Mhm.
more like a weapon. You can use it to protect someone, or you can use it to kill someone. So I felt like I really wanted to use it to protect some of the people. So I chose this kind of medium to express myself.
To protect people.
Yeah, like for example, sometimes it's not just people. You see, there's a lot of documentary talking about like wild animal, how they've been killed,
Right.
and by like letting people know, that's
Mhm.
the way to protect. So
Yeah.
same as like this time I'm doing an immigrant film.
Mhm.
A lot of Chinese who in China, they don't know about immigrants. They sometimes they will say horrible thing about, you guys are rich, you guys don't love our country, so that's why you go out to America.
I see.
So this is a way by showing them, no, there's a lot of like life problem. We have to come here. Sometimes it's not a choice.
Right.
I think by showing them there's this kind of people, this group of people living in this corner and they are living this kind of life,
Mhm.
I think that could protect them.
So you are able to protect their stories and their not just share their stories, but make sure those stories protect them by making sure the story is
It's
told.
real. Yes. And also it's real, kind of like real.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that makes total sense. That's such a unique way to talk about it. I really love that idea of film being a weapon or a protection. And I'm going to be thinking about that for the rest of the day, I think. So we have some questions here.
Mm-hmm.
We have some great questions. I'm going to start with what type of research did you have to do for the film? You said that you went and saw Peking Opera, but
Mm-hmm.
what other types of research did you have to do?
Actually, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First of all, the immigrants' history, I need to do research on that, and also the history of Peking Opera, because I wanted to make a real character, so I did a lot of background researching to find a prototype from history. So there's actually a prototype, um, a real person as my prototype, that I used to create my character background.
Okay.
Yeah, and also I think research is not only something you did online, and
Mm-hmm.
also like I'm a very young woman, right? Kind of young. I'm 26, right? There's no way I will know what a 60 years old man thinking or how they act.
Mm-hmm.
So when I decide to do this story, I start spending my time to old Chinese restaurant, like in Chinatown,
Uh-huh.
and I would just basically sit there and look at them, how they act, how they talk.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, and also I need to research for the production design, because this is a period piece, and also it's special. They are not from America.
Right.
There's something have to show they are from China.
Yes.
And I mean there's a lot. I can talk about it all day long. I did a lot of like detailed researching.
I was so pleased when I saw it the first time, and I was like, "There's a payphone! Look at that camera! That's not a cell phone." There were so many details that you got right, and
Oh,
I love.
and also the calligraphy. If
Mhm.
you guys notice, there's a lot of calligraphy on the wall. And
Yes.
those calligraphy, if you stop, pause, and look in detail, the calligraphy, I mean, like for Chinese, the calligraphy, they are exactly matching their background story. And
Oh,
also all of the calligraphy, I asked my father to did it back in China. And then I bring it here.
your
I
dad
asked
did
him
all
for
the
it.
calligraphy.
Yes.
It's a family project.
Yes, it's a
Love
family project.
it. I love it. Well, okay, so we have another question. That question was from Rosa Bellaric, and now we have one from Ricardo Castillo. This film reminded me of films like those from the Italian neorealism movement. Did that movement inspire you? If not, what inspired you to make the film?
Uh, no, that doesn't inspire me. I'm more inspired by Asian movie, like Asian realistic movie, um, especially Japanese movie.
Oh,
How they express reality, and also a director from Taiwan. He's a very, very famous director in China. His name is, I don't know his English name, but it pronounced like De Chang Yang. And
oh,
he had a film called The One and the Two.
oh,
And that film actually inspire me to do some realistic film, because when I saw his film, I was really surprised that this famous director didn't use any cool shots, you know what I mean, like cool camera movement, but
right.
he just use a lot of static shot and
Mhm.
only use pan and tilt basically,
Uh,
but it's very, very, very on point. It's very, very how does exact.
exact. Yeah.
Yes, so that,
Precise.
yes, precise. So
Precise.
that
Okay.
made me rethink about like how should I treat my movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think camera like shot design should be like suitable with the story,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes simple, I think it works better
Yeah.
sometimes. So that's kind of one of my inspiration for my film in style wise. But in the topic wise, I didn't have any inspiration. It's more because of I came back to the state for 3 years, but I never went back to China. So I'm
Uh,
kind of homesick.
oh, so you could relate to the character,
Yeah.
homesickness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very, his loneliness is very apparent too. It's very, very, very prominent. Interesting. Okay, so moving on, from James Coburn, we have very nice film. How long was the shoot? And what cameras did you use? And great job.
Mm-hmm. The shooting was 6 days, and we used mini Alexa Mini
And you
for
were
the
here in
camera.
Los Angeles, right?
Yes, in Los Angeles.
Okay, cool. Uh, Farida, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. Abdel Aziz said, "Did you see yourself in the main character?" Which you have a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you found the voice of the 60-year-old man in the observation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about the wife? Did you see yourself in the wife, or how did you build her character?
Uh, how did I build her character? So, first of all, like I need to figure out like who who is she?
Hmm.
Where does she came from? And why they don't have children, like da 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 da, all the questions. And then I just built her around King.
Mm-hmm.
She's an antagonist at the beginning, and then she support him at the end.
Yeah.
And this is how I think like how Chinese family works.
Her
Yeah,
support for him at the end is so strong, so beautiful.
yeah.
Um,
So like us Chinese people, we don't always say I love you, but they all the love are immersed in their movement.
yes. The
Yeah,
way that she feeds him, oh, I
their
love that.
apple.
It's so,
Yeah.
those little movements are fantastic. It's just so strong. Um, okay, we have a question from Michael Young, who is the president of the school. I'm so honored you're
Oh my
here,
gosh.
Michael. Thank you. And he says, this is such a beautiful and moving film. Congratulations on being chosen as a semifinalist. Can you tell us about how you cast the film? The actors are extraordinary. I agree. So tell us.
Is a huge challenge for me. It is a huge challenge, the casting. So first of all, in Los Angeles, we have a lot of young Asian actors, but
Okay.
we don't have good actor around that age, especially that we can afford.
Uh-huh.
So I tried almost all the that age, all the actor around that age in Los Angeles. I cast them, but because my actor, he need to have basic knowledge of Peking Opera, and
Ah,
also he need to act well.
yes.
Yeah, then I extend the area to San Francisco and New York, but I didn't found anyone. And then at the end, I have to cast from China. So
Really?
my main character King came. I flew him from China to Los Angeles, and but the female character, she's in LA. Yeah,
How did
I'm
you?
very lucky to cast that I can found her, because she didn't came for casting.
Oh,
She was recommended by my editor, who at that time she's editing a film that lady, the main character, she's the main character in the movie that my editor is editing. So she recommended her to me.
yeah. That's just fantastic. Did you rehearse with them a lot in advance, or how did you do that?
Oh my gosh. So it's tricky because King, he's in China. So I need to flew him to the state.
Yes.
So I flew him 2 weeks before my shooting. And
Oh,
then it became really intense. So basically at the afternoon, I sent him to the Peking Opera like training.
ah,
Yes. And at the morning, King and Wenping, they come to my place to do rehearsal.
okay. So he
Yeah.
was in training. He was in opera training and rehearsal at the same
Yes.
time.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
It
It's,
was very intense.
yeah. And then you must have been doing all the work, your prep as a director as well. You must have been working all day and all night.
Yeah, but luckily I have a very, very nice crew. They are all helping me. So basically, I don't need to worry too much. I don't need to worry too much about like, oh, is this prop been ready, or what is the schedule done? Da da da. No, I
Right.
don't need to. Yeah, I just need to focus on getting my actor together, sending him to the training, and then I don't need to worry that much. So this is, I think, the lucky part,
I
because I
think,
got a very, very good crew.
yeah. Okay, so Joyce Lee says, Phyllis, your film is quite universal. Did you think much about who your audience would be? Was there any worry or concern about it being how it would be received globally?
Mm, I didn't think that much when I'm writing or shooting it, because I just want to tell a story from my heart.
Yeah.
And I think a unique, I think like, because humans' emotion are all connected. Even though I use a unique perspective, but that doesn't mean like American cannot get it, or that doesn't mean Jewish cannot get it. We all
Right.
have the same emotion. So I just need to make sure that I pass, I pass the unique voice, and I didn't worry about other thing else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that that's actually one of the ways that you make a film universal, is by being very attuned to the specifics, making sure that the details of the calligraphy and the costume and the emotions, they all combine together to make it feel universal. I think it's very strong. Okay, so from Sunny Calderon, one of the deans of the school. Hi, Sunny. Much of your story was told through very small, subtle visuals. Did you come up with those visual cues while writing or after the script was finished?
One second. I need to reread it again.
Okay, yeah, it's
Small subtle visual to come up with the visual cues with writing, or most of the cue I came up with when I am writing it.
really
Yes.
like
Yeah.
even the wife feeding the fruit and
I think that doesn't count as a visual cue. Is that counts? I thought he was talking about the calligraphy stuff, but yeah, some of that little detail, like the apple stuff, it came from improv.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it came
Well,
from improv.
let me ask you this. What were the most important visuals that you planned in advance, that you knew I have to have this image?
The moon, the
The moon, of
calligraphy,
course. Mhm.
the Buddha statue,
Yep.
and the Buddha statue, and that. Oh, and the mirror, the reflection.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the mirror is so strong because he drops it in the scene, and then when he comes back after the phone call where he learns that his mother has passed away, it's so heartbreaking. I love the way that you use that mirror, both as like when he realizes looking at the pager that something's wrong and he drops the mirror, it has an important emotional resonance. And then when he picks it back up, it just seems to reflect not just him, but his tragedy, his mourning,
Yeah.
his
And
loss.
also there's an other meaning that when I was planning it,
Mm,
so I felt like his identity is broken, because when
uh,
we came to, especially when King came to America, he
yes.
didn't use his real identity, who is a performer. He is pretending to just make a living. He's burying his dream. So he's kind of basically faking another, I think, identity to live. But when his mother died, everything he fakes is broken. He pretend to be okay, but that part of them is broken.
Yeah. So it's a very powerful moment of realization for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have time for two more questions, and one is from Iravati Grevison, one of my colleagues at NYFA. The film definitely creates parallels with the struggles Indian immigrants and families in the US go through. And for me, the production design was almost a character in the film. Their house looks a lot like some of the houses of my family here. How did you make sure that was so authentic?
Um, I will give my credit to I will give the credit to my production designer,
Ah,
and she's amazing. She know what exactly I want, and she also input a lot of her her taste. And by make sure that being authentic, we get most of our set dressing and props and even the wallpaper from China.
Even the wallpaper came from China?
Even the wallpaper, yeah.
You weren't messing around. That's totally legit. I love it. I love it. The scene where the wife is going to wash clothes and she's in that little room and a child runs through. I love that little room. It seems so specific to me. It's such a, I think a testament to the importance of production design in making a story feel real. So, okay, so we have one last question, and I'm so sorry, I'm going to actually mispronounce. I think this is Joey Hay. Can you say this name, Phyllis?
Qian Yinghe.
Yes. Okay, and she asked the question, why the title Fragile Moon?
I'm pretty sure she knows that moon is a symbol of reunion in China.
Ah.
And by being fragile, that means his wishes is fragile. It's not real. It's something that is very easy to break, being broken.
Right.
I wanted to pass this message through the title, and because if I translate it directly from Chinese, it will be paper moon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
There is a famous film in English called Paper Moon, so I'm
glad
so
that's why.
Translate it.
That's why.
I'm glad you didn't do that. But I also, I think it's a great question. Why is it called Fragile Moon? And when I first saw the film, I thought it made me think about how no matter where you are in the world, you can see the moon. And so it just along the idea that you said it represents reunion, and it meant connection to me as well. So it's so beautiful. So, okay, I'm sorry guys, we have to wrap up. Please give a virtual round of applause for Phyllis. And I think in the next week or two, we'll find out what who the finalists are. And of course, we are wishing you the best of luck.
And nerve-wracking.
I know it's nerve-wracking. It's very nerve-wracking, but I hope we're going to get good news for you. Regardless, this is an amazing, amazing accomplishment, and I know it will be the first of many successes for you.